Stardew Valley is a monumental solo indie development. It was initially released for PC way back on February 26, 2016, with console ports following throughout late 2016 and 2017. It was added to Game Pass on December 3rd, 2021, and is a game we've been itching to get around to. Some consider it the pinnacle of farming games. For others, it is the relaxing wind down at the end of their day. For us, it simply raises the usual question: is Stardew Valley worth your time? Stardew Valley starts off extremely strong in the gameplay department. Throughout the review, I want you to keep reminding yourself that this was all put together by one person, a true passion project. The sheer amount of detail, variety, and polish here is insane. You can play Stardew Valley solo, or with a farm of up to 4 total players. Starting the game has you creating your own custom character with more options than Cyberpunk. At the core of the game is your farm. Plant crops, manage your land, tend to your animals, and build the perfect space to live out your days. Gameplay has a great progression from starting out planting and watering by hand to automating elements of your farm and making life a little easier on yourself. The game revolves around a yearly cycle, broken up into 4 28-day chunks. Each day is 20 minutes, and it makes the sheer variety here manageable. Stardew Valley is not a game about taking on everything at once. Instead, you are encouraged to move at your own pace. The world does its best to introduce you to mechanics at a steady pace by locking new mechanics behind monetary gain or time in game. The only misstep here is the initial quest that tasks you with speaking to all of the townsfolk. This is a bit too much to just dump on new players straight away. When you start out, it's you and 15 parsnip seeds. By the time you're 20 hours in, you'll still be discovering new areas and interactions. There's so much depth here. If you're a fan of Animal Crossing, you'll be right at home here, without all of the waiting around in real time. Gameplay overall is simple, but the variety here is key. You can farm, fish, build relationships, hunt for rare items, venture into the mines and fight monsters. You won't be able to achieve everything you want to within the 20-minute day, but if you set yourself small goals and work towards bigger projects, you will be rewarded. This is absolutely a game to kick back to at the end of a long day, or jump in for a quick session when you have the chance. ConcernedApe should be immensely proud of himself with the amount of variety and depth he's created here. This man is running circles around the AAA industry with Stardew Valley, and the past 5 years have only brought more updates that expand the game in meaningful ways. Stardew Valley earns its first 5 in the gameplay department. Pixel art is at its peak here. Everything in Stardew Valley pops with bright colours and feels alive with detail. Characters are expressive and everything is fused together masterfully. The polish from gameplay extends here as well. Each season has its own distinct look and feel, from the greens of spring to the oranges of autumn. It is simply impossible to not feel cozy in this world. There are also multiple types of farm, each with their own aesthetic and layout. And whilst Pelican Town mostly looks the same, care has been taken with the look to make it feel cozy and inviting. Each of the townsfolk has their own distinct look, and plenty of care has gone into their sprites and expressive character portraits. Menus even get a stylized look that stays informative. It's all great. There is one major drawback, however. Sprites blend together far too easily, and it can heavily conflict with gameplay. In a broad sense, this mostly concerns item collection and storage. Everything has this beautifully detailed sprite work, but when you're looking for a certain item in a chest, it can be almost impossible to locate what you are actually looking for. The gameplay has a huge emphasis on collecting items for keepsakes or crafting recipes and upgrades, and this is the major area where the art style conflicts with that. On a smaller scale, this concerns crop growth, as it can be hard to discern when crops are ready for harvest if you take breaks from the game. On a brighter note, the music is great. If Spiritfarer sounds like a quietude in your soul, Stardew Valley sounds like kicking back and watching the sunset. Every track has this great, calming, bouncy feel, and everything folds into this warm, homely feeling. Stardew Valley scores a 4 out of 5 for art direction. The pixel art here is gorgeous, and everything is expressive in an almost impossible way. But the art style can conflict with gameplay in a major way if you're not organised. Music achieves the desired feel, but is not at the levels of something like Outer Wilds or Cuphead. The initial narrative here is very simple, but greatly effective. You are sick of your soul-sucking corporate job and move to your late grandfather's farm to live out your days in peace. The game achieves a lot here with just a little bit of context. The real meat of the narrative here is the story of your farm and the relationships you build with the townsfolk. The story of your farm is determined by you and is totally freeform. How you grow and the decisions you make all come down to you. Each town member has their own storyline that you uncover by becoming better friends with them. Stories can blossom into relationships if you so wish, and everyone has real struggles and dreams. Characters have relationships with each other that are separate from the player. Then there are small events that are tied to progression. You'll meet new characters and be given new tasks through some smaller scripted scenes. Everything comes together to form a cohesive world, and you can choose to invest yourself in it or be a recluse on your farm. For this, Stardew Valley gets a 4 out of 5 for its narrative offerings. Stardew Valley is a full package. You are getting a massively expansive game here, and it is polished to a shine. You can play the game solo or with friends. You can work on your farm or go dungeon diving in the caves, fishing or flirting with the locals. You also get 5 save files to play around with if you want to experiment with different farms. The big thing that lets Stardew Valley down is a lack of settings. On one hand, this is a game made by one guy, and it is absolutely commendable that everything got the insane polish that it has. But on the other hand, it seems weird that this is where the game doesn't seem to have the same amount of love. Don't get me wrong, there are some solid settings here, but there are also some bigger missions. As usual, let's break down what we have here. You can toggle auto run, character portraits, tool hit location, and whether it stays on display whilst moving. Item stowing can be turned on or off. You can alter slingshot fire mode, turn on placement tile indicators, and choose between controller or cursor menus. There is some good stuff in here. Advanced crafting information has a toggle, and there is a dedicated button for launching local co-op. Audio is divided up into 4 sliders: music, sound, ambient, and footstep. There are also options for fishing bite sound and toggles for dialogue typing and animal sounds. Graphics allows you to scale your UI scale and zoom level, and toggle menu backgrounds, toolbar lock, and flash effects. You can also adjust screen size. Controller settings are severely lacking. You can only toggle vibration and invert toolbar scroll direction. There are no options here to rebind button controls. There are also no subtitle options. There is no voice acting in this game, and so every piece of spoken or written information relies on the player being able to read it. The default text is legible, but blends into menu and text box backgrounds, and with no options to alter text or text boxes, text can blend in and become hard to read. You are getting a truckload with this package, but that final bit of polish in the settings department would have gone a long way. Stardew Valley is absolutely a complete game with a vast array of content, and it is all well implemented. We're opting to give the specs here a 4 out of 5. The things missing here can have big ramifications for certain players, and it feels like they were forgotten in that final polishing pass. As of this review, I have played just shy of 50 hours of Stardew Valley, and I am nowhere near what I would consider complete. This isn't really a game you beat, and that's what works best about it. You can work on your farm for as long as you like and always come back to it. The game breaks itself up into 20-minute days, and that makes both quick and long play sessions a breeze. You will frequently find yourself convincing yourself to play just one more day because your corn needs harvesting, even though it is 3 AM in the real world. The game is also super friendly on hard drives, occupying a measly 1.4 gigabytes. Stardew Valley, like many indie games, has an utmost respect for your time. There is no messing about here. The game starts strong and opens up organically, allows easily for varied play sessions, and is best mates with your hard drive. We can't give it a 6 out of 5 unfortunately, so a 5 out of 5 will have to do. Stardew Valley is worth your time. It's that simple. This is the perfect game to wind down a long day with, and it is as true a passion project as you can find. One man made all of this, and I can't wait for his next endeavour, Haunted Chocolatier. So do yourself a favour, check this one out. You'll sit down for 20 minutes and notice the sun coming up 20 minutes later. It's a cozy little game, and with the madness of your own modern life, an escape to Stardew Valley might just be the thing you need most.